All right, y'all. There's a couple of things that I wanted to address on camera about the New York Knicks 2022-2023 New York season. I want to talk about the storylines this season. I don't necessarily want to talk about the games. The Knicks are 3-3 right now. They look fine. They're playing against really good teams and they're playing against really bad teams, and the record kind of shows that. They're 3-3, they're 500. It's kind of where they should be. It is what it is. Doesn't matter. 3-3 is the correct record so far. I haven't even used this. 3-3 is the correct record so far. So I don't even really want to get into it. What I do want to talk about and what I do think is important and a conversation we can have on a larger scale is that our 5, 6, 7-ish storylines that will define not just this Knicks season and not just the future of the Knicks, but this current regime. And I think the best place to start, our first storyline to go down, is this Obi Toppin situation. And for the third straight year, fans, even people covering the team, media members, are questioning what the hell is going to happen with Obi Toppin. Because he was drafted 8th overall, middle lottery. And usually, middle lottery picks get the opportunity to show if they are going to be really good, good, not good, whatever. And Obi Toppin just hasn't had that opportunity. His rookie year, he was on a team that became the 4th seed in the playoffs. So there wasn't really margin for error, and so he had to kind of learn on the fly. He started off the season with an injury that's also forgotten. So he got off to a slow start, never really recovered, got on Tibbs' bad side because Tibbs doesn't like people who aren't very good defenders. He wasn't a very good defender. Next thing you know, he's getting like 8 minutes per game his rookie year. I don't know what the number was, but I do know from watching and my eyes and what they told me is that Obi Toppin only played games because he was the 8th pick, 1, and 2, he would only get minutes when Julius Randle needed a rest. Tom Thibodeau never put, during his rookie year, and we could talk about what he's done his second and third years, but Tom Thibodeau has never put Obi Toppin in the game because he thought, damn, Obi Toppin would be a really good player to have on the court right now because of his energy, his effort, his shooting, or whatever. Never once happened during his rookie year. The only time Obi Toppin was put in the game was to give Julius Randle a rest. And whether that's right or wrong, I happen to think that was wrong, a wrong decision to do. He wasn't great his rookie year, so I'm not going to make the argument against it. But what I will say is that Obi Toppin learned a lot that rookie year, in his own words, and came back his second year much improved. Much improved in terms of knowing where to be on the court, much improved in terms of his three-point shot looking a bit more consistent, even if it wasn't great yet, wasn't even very good, but was a bit more consistent, and as he got more playing time, proved that it would have been more consistent had he had gotten more minutes to get into a better rhythm. And that's not to say how bad of a season Julius Randle had last year that should have pushed Tom Thibodeau to kind of give Obi Toppin more minutes back then. Because now, in year 3, we're in a conundrum where Obi Toppin has become like a good three-point shooter, at least theoretically. He's shooting over 50% 6 games into the season on like decent attempts. He shot 15 per game. And yet, and also, as we talked about in his second year, improved his defensive awareness. He at least knows what's going on in the defensive end. He's not perfect. He's never going to be a good defender. You hope that he's just a serviceable, neutral team defender. But with all of that, improvements from his first year to his second year for his defense didn't really help him out all that much. Got him slightly more minutes his second year. And coming into his third year, after Julius Randle went down last year, you would think that after Obi's great end to the season last year, that Tom Thibodeau would trust him enough to give him a slightly larger role, which he has not done. And the disappointing part in that is that you have these first-round picks that you draft for 4 years, right? They sign a 2 and 2, a 2-year deal, guaranteed deal with a 2-year team option, right? And this is now Obi Toppin's third year. And if what's happening so far is precedent for what's going to happen for the rest of the season, what is the case with Obi Toppin is that he's not going to be getting very minutes at all. And the issue with that is that not only did you invest the 8th overall pick in Obi Toppin when right now Tyrese Halliburton's kind of going crazy in Indiana, you passed on him because you thought Obi Toppin was going to be really special and that you were going to invest in him. And what you haven't done is invest in him at all. Obi Toppin's a better player than the chances he's been given to show in the NBA. His three-point shot has improved from his rookie year to now. His defensive awareness has improved from his rookie year to his second year to his third year now. And yet, at the same time, the only time he gets to play is when Julius Randle needs a rest. Now, in his third year, apparently, through Tibbs' words, he has grown to recognize the importance of having a guy like Obi Toppin on the court with his effort and his energy and his infectious nature and all of that. The issue comes in that when push comes to shove, Tom Thibodeau is not going to play. I fear that Obi Toppin, as much as he loves New York, he's obviously born and raised in New York, has a love for the city, has fit right in. He's constantly at events and hanging out with the fans and talking to the fans and interacting with people. He's clearly the kind of person any team would want in their organization. Obi Toppin's going to garner a lot of interest from other teams. And the issue is going to be is that Julius Randle's on a long-term contract, which is great, cool, awesome for him. Good for the team for locking him up on a long-term deal. The issue is that next season, very well could be Obi Toppin's last year as a New York Knick. And the issue with that is that through 4 years, we will never have known what Obi Toppin in the starting lineup or playing, 20 minutes a night would look like. And when he goes to another team, whatever team it may be, maybe it's Golden State, maybe it's Toronto, maybe it's Boston, or whatever, wherever he goes. The issue will be is that those teams will recognize how good of a player he is. Those coaches will recognize his infectious energy and effort, and he will get 20 to 25, if not 30 minutes a night. And what will happen is Obi Toppin will prove that not only will he thrive in a situation like that with those minutes, he will prove that he should have gotten it significantly earlier in his career, and that not getting it has stunted his growth. Us New York Knicks fans will have to sit here again with our heads in our hands thinking, why couldn't we have just traded Randle back when we drafted him and seen what it was? Because back then, we didn't really have a future. We were stuck in the middle of nowhere. We had just drafted RJ, didn't have a great rookie year, improved his second year, but that was going into his second year when we drafted Obi Toppin and Emmanuel quickly. And what we could have done is torn it down, trade off Randle, and seen what RJ and Obi and quickly 3 first-round picks in 2 years could have done together. If they could have done anything. But the fact of the matter is that early in the season, these Obi Toppin minutes are frustrating because not only is he ridiculously productive in these minutes, it doesn't seem like no matter what he does, he can earn any more minutes because the only time he gets to play is when Julius Randle needs to rest. And that's disappointing. There are some very interesting stats that I've seen on Twitter thrown around. Maybe I'll throw them up here or something. But what they essentially end up showing is how little of a chance Obi Toppin has gotten to actually be on the court. He's played significantly less minutes than notable draft busts who are no longer in the NBA. He's played less minutes than a bunch of those guys, and yet at the same time, he is still has not had any kind of increase in his minutes. I haven't looked it up. I'll throw it up on screen, but it's interesting. It'll be interesting to look at the comparison of his last year's minutes per game mark versus this year's minutes per game mark if we exclude games where Julius Randle didn't play last year. because Tibbs had no other option than to start Obi Toppin and play him a large amount of minutes, even if he didn't want to. And I wouldn't be surprised if they are staggeringly similar. That's just disappointing. And it will be interesting to see what Tom Thibodeau can do about that situation, if he thinks he should do anything at all throughout the rest of the season. Because I think they will need Obi Toppin's three-point shooting if Julius Randle's three-point shooting never comes back around. Obi Toppin has proven to at least deserve an opportunity to show that he can do more. And Tom Thibodeau's stubbornness is going to cost the New York Knicks a promising power forward.